Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over some sprinting breakdowns, some athletes that came into the lab to actually get themselves overall analyzed and really go deep into what are some of the key things that we wanted to really focus on in improving within their sprint form. I think it'll be really informative just because it gives a lot of different detail for a bunch of different types of running techniques, running forms. So we're going to really try to break this down in a way to make it so you can understand what we're seeing from a biomechanical perspective in the sprinting and also how to adjust that. And as always, if you guys like the information, like the video, go ahead and click the subscribe button below and get the notifications, like, comments, all that stuff really helps us out a ton. And we'll hop right into the video. All right, so we got our first sprinter here. The big thing that I would say with his overall sprinting is just going to be being able to maximize that push off. So as the leg is coming off the ground, we can see we're just not getting very much vertical force, getting not very much extension through that back leg. So being able to just work on that triple extension through that back leg is going to be the biggest thing to really be able to maximize how much overall distance is covering on each one of his steps. And that's going to be the biggest thing that I would say from a takeaway perspective is for him. Okay, then here, excellent overall stride. You can see much better triple extension here. But now for him, what I would say is that there's a little bit too much of a lean forward in the spine during this last push off phase. So he's kind of losing the stability in his pelvis. The pelvis is kind of rolling forward here. Right, and so that's making it so now the foot's getting back too far back behind him, and so he's struggling in being able to swing that leg all the way back and through, and being able to really get that nice extension with the leg out in front. So, you know, he could really maximize his turnover, get his turnover to be a little bit faster by pushing off a little bit sooner and also maintaining a little bit more stability within the pelvis. Okay, so for this one, I would say the big thing that stands out is in the arm swing. So just being able to maximize that arm swing a little bit more, getting a little bit more rotation through the spine. Also being able to really push off and create a lot of force in the push off. I would say really the effectiveness of being able to push off the ground and through that foot and get that triple extension and hip extension back behind are the two biggest things that I see in terms of the commonality of where you can start to make improvements within your sprinting form. This is obviously an example of somebody that can improve a lot within the triple extension within the hip and also being able to, you know, get the extension within the knee and the ankle. So really working on that posterior side mechanic. All right, so for this one, just being able to, and I know a little bit more history about this athlete, but, you know, big thing that I would say is being able to really work on getting full extension out of both legs. So we can see when going back, left leg doesn't get as much overall extension in the hip while going back in comparison to the right leg. Right leg has a lot more range of motion, and then also being able to, you can see the difference there and how much more the right leg is able to get back. And then on both sides, being able to create a little bit more extension with those front side mechanics of being able to fully extend that knee before coming back underneath. So he's just pushing his foot right back down underneath him rather than getting that full extension out and then pulling that leg back underneath you. It's another common mistake that we see and something that a lot of people can work on. But I would say first thing is making sure that we're getting full extension out of both the right and the left hip evenly. All right, so this one's overall pretty good. What I would just say is being able to really get a little bit more vertical force during that push off here. So he's a little bit too horizontal, so all of his weight's coming forward here. You can see the head's pretty far out in front of the body and the spine is at a pretty big angle there. So he's still getting extension with the leg out in front, which is good, and pulls back underneath him, which is something that you definitely want to be able to do, and also does a good job of being able to get that full extension there when pushing off. Could just make it so the press off is a little bit more vertical, a little bit more powerful there, instead of being so stuck in the horizontal movement during the run. And part of the reason that is just because of the overall posture and position of the spine and the body. This one, again, just being able to maximize the backside mechanics, so being able to push off well within that back leg. So as he's transitioning through, really being able to get that full extension within the hip. We can see that he's just not getting that foot all the way back behind him. Really excellent turnover. So the ability to get those legs moving very, very fast and those arms moving very, very fast is excellent. But just not being able to fully open up within the back leg makes it so then he can't get as much of a extension within the front leg. So you can start to see how, you know, being able to push off the back leg really makes a big impact on being able to then cycle that leg through and get that great extension within, you know, your front side mechanics. So there's a lot of people that you're suffering with not having great front side mechanics because when you push off with that back leg, we'll look at the left one now, you just don't push off with enough extension, enough force to be able to then cycle this leg through and then be able to get that extension all the way out, and or you just might not be able to keep that foot all the way up as you're coming through with your actual leg cycle. So as you're coming through here, you want to keep that leg, keep that foot up into the air to make it so then you have the ability to pull that leg underneath. So there's a combination of two different things that could be causing you to really shorten up your stride, either the ability to push off or the ability to cycle that foot through and keep that foot pretty high off the ground when you're cycling that foot through, which comes from that vertical force. All right, here's another pretty good one here. So pretty good overall upright posture, pretty good overall arm swing, a pretty good extension within the back leg, and then bringing the leg through. The only thing that I would really say is just being able to work on getting that extension with the leg out in front, and then being able to pull that leg back underneath rather than keeping it stuck in that kind of knee bent position and then just kind of pushing straight down. And being able to do that really is going to help in adding a whole new level of speed and capability within, you know, this runner's overall ability. So yeah, being able to really open up and get full extension with that foot out in front is going to make a big difference in this athlete's overall sprinting speed. So really opening up with the arms here. The arms are just staying really, really low as this athlete's going, and then being able to get that triple extension like we talked about before within the legs. You can see as he's pushing off, he immediately goes right into bending in the legs, and might even, as he's pushing off, keep the legs bent. So he's not really getting that full extension out of the hips and being able to open up within the hips, keeping everything very, very kind of quad dominated in his actual running form. Pretty good front side mechanics for, you know, what he's getting in the push on the backside. So most of his speed is actually coming in this little bit of movement right here with the left leg, being able to pull that leg back underneath. Can really work on being able to push off and get more extension through the hips, and that'll make a big difference in his run. This one has a lot to do with posture, right? Very, very rounded within that mid back, and just maintain a little bit better position throughout the spine. Really excellent cycle though, really, with being able to push off, getting full extension when pushing off there, and then being able to really cycle that leg and get that leg pretty straight as it's coming back underneath. But would really be able to make a big difference in overall running by just being able to adjust that position within the body, and then from there would probably even be able to get a little bit more extension within the back, which would help in getting full extension within the back leg. So even though he's getting good extension there, he could probably improve a little bit more through the hip and through the lower back, which would just add a little bit more power when running. All right, this one's pretty good, where you can see being able to cycle that leg through, getting full extension when pushing off. Could really probably maximize that left arm. Looks like the left hand's coming across a little bit too much, so we need to be able to get a little bit more control of that left arm. And also looks like he's really bending those shoulders up and down a good amount as he's going. So he doesn't have very good control of the core, very good control of the spine, excellent control of the hips and of the lower body, but just being able to lock the spine in a little bit better and get a little bit more control there is going to make a big difference. It looks like also that right foot is really turning out to the side. If your feet are turning off to the side, the reason that is because of a lack of ankle range of motion, and so being able to work on that would be an important thing for him, as well as being able to lock in the spine and the shoulders, probably by doing primarily some core exercises in order to do that. All right, so those are 10 people's breakdowns there. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit more information of what we're looking at when we do the breakdowns for sprinters. And so if you're interested in getting one, we have some links below to go ahead and do that. We also have some links to get you started on some of our free trials and free ebooks and things like that. So go ahead and check out the description below to find out a little bit more about what we do and how we can help out your overall sprint form.